Hi everyone, hope you're doing great. This video is about all the coups that happened last year, 2021. The first one was in Myanmar, a Southeast Asian country, where the military leader seized power to avoid Aung San Suu Kyi, who won more than 80% of the vote in parliament, to become leader of the country because allegedly he was concerned that if Aung San Suu Kyi became the leader with that much power in her hand, she may put him on trial for all the crimes that he committed against one of the tribes in the country. Okay, so now we are going to go and look at the other countries that had coup last year, and next is Guinea.
We'll soon be exploring the implications of this coup for Guinea and the region. But first, let's recap what happened.
Jubilation in Conakry, Guinea's military takeover, was popular on the streets of the capital.
It's a victory for the young people of Guinea. We are really happy. We say well done to the Guinean army, to the special forces. Youth has won. Today we are all free. Everyone is free today.
The Economic Community of West African States has imposed travel bans and financial sanctions on the country's new leaders and their families. Now, at a summit in Ghana, ECOWAS leaders also demanded the unconditional release of Guinea's president, Alpha Condé, as well as a, quote, very short transition period.
Marshal of Chad Idriss Déby Itno, as he did every time when the Republic's institutions were seriously threatened, took the heroic lead in a combat operation against terrorists who had come from Libya. He was injured in the engagement and died after being brought back to N'Djamena.
Idriss Déby had been visiting security forces on the front lines of war against rebels, but what was meant to be a morale booster has left the Chadian army mourning its commander-in-chief. The military says he died from wounds sustained on the battlefield. A former military general turned rebel leader, Idriss Déby took power in a bloodless coup in 1990. He has remained in power, winning 5 elections and altering the constitution to extend presidential limits. The most recent, in 2018, increased presidential terms from 5 to 6 years and reinstated a 2-term limit, effectively allowing Déby to stay in power for another 12 years. He was set to extend his 3-decade rule after winning the highly controversial April 11 presidential election.
Let's turn to Mali now. The United Nations Security Council has condemned yesterday's coup there, urging the soldiers involved to return to their barracks without delay. But the soldiers who ousted President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta say, in fact, they plan to set up a civilian transitional government and hold new elections. They made an address on television. Here's an excerpt.
L'horreur est devenue le quotidien du Malien.
Horror has become the daily life of the Malian people. Malians have become refugees in their own country, prey to all difficulties. Highway banditry and armed robberies have become numerous. Terrorism and extremism are destroying social cohesion and are not inevitable. Bad governance and the frustration that comes from it has caused Malians to lose hope for a better tomorrow.
First, Sudan faces an uncertain political future following the resignation of its civilian Prime Minister, Abdallah Hamdok. He'd only been back in office for 6 weeks after being ousted in a military coup in October. In a televised address, he said that without a new roundtable process to revive the country's transition to democracy, Sudan risked sliding into disaster. Stephanie Prentice reports.
Weeks of violent protests, the youth mobilised in the streets, and deadly confrontations with police. Protesters here prepared to give up everything to demand democratic civilian rule, but now a new year is bringing in new problems for them. The Sudanese Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok has confirmed he will now step down, while thousands marched against his recent deal to agree to share power with the army. His absence leaves the army solely in charge.
I have tried my best to stop the country from sliding towards disaster. Sudan is crossing now a dangerous turning point that threatens its whole survival.
On Sunday, military forces staged another violent crackdown on dissent in Khartoum, but that hasn't deterred many of those in the street.
And we start from the land of Burkina Faso. A coup in 1987 and another in 2014, a failed attempt in 2015 and now 2022. We'll be right to say this is where the gun rules.
Communiqué numéro 1. Peuple du Burkina Faso, concitoyens, concitoyennes, amis du Burkina Faso. Au regard de la dégradation continue de la situation sécuritaire qui menace les fondements même de notre nation, de l'incapacité manifeste du pouvoir de M. Roch Marc Christian Kaboré à unir les Burkinabés pour faire face efficacement à la situation et suite à l'exaspération des différentes couches sociales de la nation, le mouvement patriotique pour la sauvegarde et la restauration, MPSR, a décidé d'assumer ses responsabilités qui regroupent toutes les composantes.
This movement, bringing together all components of the defense and security forces, has decided to put an end to the rule of Roch Marc Christian Kaboré on this, the 24th of January 2022.
Une décision prise dans le seul
A decision made solely to put our country back on the right track and to bring together our forces to fight for the territorial integrity of our country, the recovery of our country, and the sovereignty of our country.
Et sa souveraineté.
We are here today to support our army that decided to save our lives. We are here today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow. We support our army.
What is going on here at the moment? Nothing is going well. We expected a lot from President Roch, and he has only disappointed people more with new appointments. Always with a new government, but he was the real problem.
We've been protesting for 3 days.